Ladies and gentlemen, and now the main event. 25 cars, 22 cars for the undisputed win of this race at Talladega, Alabama. And the moment you've been waiting for. Let's get ready to rumble! FSBRacing.com, Winston Cup Friday night, and it's Talladega NRT 500. This is Mel Minter Jr. along with the voice of FSB, Greg Bernardo.
Welcome, Milty. Welcome, one and all. Talladega, Alabama. The superest of super speedways, Milty. 2.66 miles. Grueling test. Anything can happen here. Jeff Hale, our leader, with a semi-comfortable points lead. So he can probably be a little, maybe a little more fast and loose here, Milty, and you know him and super speedways. So with a clear conscience of the points, he could be very hard to beat tonight.
Yeah, one of my favorite Motorhead songs, Fast and Loose there. And, and by the way, one thing you didn't mention was he is probably the best super speedway driver in the league. So that might be another reason why he might be chilling,
Yeah, definitely. If he's not the best, he's 1A or whatever you want to rank people as. Yeah, he knows how to find. As they always said about Dale Earnhardt, he could see the draft. He could see it and knew when to put the car in it to maximize the positions. Because let's face it, Milty, super speedway racing, everyone's fairly equal as far as what you can do with the car. It's how a driver turns it from one lane to another, finds that little hole, and can make the car stick there. That's what separates the real good super speedway drivers from the guys that finish 5th, 6th, 7th, like myself. You just gotta find that one little space that's going to propel you. And if you can't find it, you're sometimes just mired right in the middle of a pack for lap after lap after lap, and sometimes that can really wear on you as well mentally.
Well, I've won a few of these and at the super speedways, and not only that, your thing we saw these guys doing right before qualifying was, and in the happy hour, was practice your pit stops.
Yes.
Because ultimately it's going to come down to execution, some luck, and also a good track position. You see Rick Johnson up there in P5, and he's just about right where he wants to be, and we know what a great super speedway driver he is.
Yeah, and a great pole for Rick Bisconner in the 43 car. Ryan Johnson lines up outside pole, and Jim Christopherson and Pops with a great qualifying run here, Milty. Who says the old man can't drive super speedways? We know Pops can turn left and right, Milty, and we know how he does on these short tracks, but what do you think of Pops there?
Well, I think the guys were giving him a guff in the post-driver meeting because they were jealous a little bit, because them guys, like Guy Pitcher, are starting behind him here. So, of course, it's all good-natured fun here, and already saving fuel here on the. It's all about fuel here and a lot of other things, but let's do the math. Obviously, if this thing went green, 19 is your fuel window. So
yeah, and we see up at the top here,
and they can do that.
We see up at the top, we're going to do 76 laps here at Talladega Super Speedway, Milty, and depending on how these guys cooperate in the draft and give and take, the 76 laps can actually go by faster than you think, or it could be an extremely long race, Milty. So I would like to pick the former than the latter there.
It's going to go. It needs to go Noah's Ark here, two by two, and these guys are pros, and that's probably what's going to happen. What's going to dictate is going to be that first pit stop and the separation from there, and the haves and the have-nots.
And we see our pace car coming around. Now remember, the start-finish line at Talladega, Milty, is not in the middle of the front stretch or the tri-oval. It's way at the end of the tri-oval. So you see these guys pit Corvette
Pace
pulls
cars
off,
off.
but these guys still have to maintain this pace speed for almost the longest of any track once the pace car leaves the track. So you get a little itchy trigger finger here, and you want to get on the gas here, so you got to be patient. Big line of cars. This is where you don't want to stack up and get in the back of someone early on. And we got a green flag here.
Got Troyer in my, gotta have to have a soft place for him there in the Budweiser car. He was going down on the apron trying to save fuel. We know what he's done in the NRT 500 against the world in the All-Star NRT 500, where several of our drivers also made it to the finals.
And we can
These
see as
guys are
they
pros.
go down the backstretch now, they get into single file. Rick leading the line here.
What a rise to the top for Bisconder, and just is always competitive every week. And these kind of races, he's putting the work in. Chicken Run.
Yeah, look at that field stream out around this front stretch or
that second
tri-oval
line
there.
is backwards there.
Yeah, it looked like everyone bailed out on it as quickly as possible. The inside line is really pulled away, and
the outside line can work here, and you will see that later. Right now, it's just get in and ride right here.
yeah, and then we see a big Congo line going down the back straightaway. Outside line, Pops, it looks like, is leading that outside line, trying to pull it. Rick Johnson right behind him. As we go back to the front, we see Rick still leading, Jim Christopherson second, Jeff Hale third. 55 is right there as well, and we know,
Royer's got some skills on
yeah,
these tracks right here.
I'm trying to find the words to describe. He's very Jeff Hale-like in his knowledge of where to put his car at the right time, at the right place. Driving styles definitely different, but philosophy to get to the front is very much the same, Milky.
Almost the sucker hole there for Isaac Johnson, but he gets back in line. Thought about it, said nah, but he was trying to get up ahead of Pops there, but he's got the pedal to the metal and let her roar.
And then we go back to this about 5th, 6th, 7th place, Milty. We see the 09 Brian Lamb, 07 admin Ken Soska right there, and the 92 Chad Stallman.
Stallman, second race
good,
back.
Yeah,
and
right in the thick of things
strong.
there. Yeah, and there's the 72 car. I'm having some kind of issue with his paint. I just can't get his vial to get picked up in my system, so I apologize, Isaac.
Yeah, I got it.
I know. I don't. For some reason, I might have to. Yeah, and then we see Pops get a big shuffle. Big shuffle there by Pops, going all the way down onto the apron under the yellow line there. Gets right back in line though. No harm, no foul. It looks like Rick Johnson on that high line.
And he's got Dino Francesconi behind him.
Yeah, there's that 8 Hooters car right there.
Hooters!
There we see Mark DeSenza, and now we see Sam Young there on the outside, Milty, making it 3 wide. Ed Finley on the inside.
The boss running tonight. We haven't mentioned him yet.
Yeah,
Cool
he's trying to.
Oh boy! That was almost a wreck. Sorry, man. Rick Johnson in the 72 Isaac just almost got into it there, boy.
And
here comes Chad.
Chad making a good move to the outside and getting the push now. But that third line is forming, and they're trying to make a 3 wide line. Mark DeSenza trying to work that highest line. Then we got Chad. Now Chad drops down into the low line. So Chad really using lanes to his advantage there, going around and making a nice pass right there, Milty. But that's spinning the barrel of the gun early on in this race. If you just
Nice
miscalculate there
analogy.
and get a touch, you're definitely going to be along for a ride here. There we see the 8 car right in the middle there, and it gets a little turbulent as well in that inside middle groove, Milty. When you're 3 wide, you can almost feel
Right there.
the forces buffeting you in between there.
Wow, man.
Meanwhile, Rick Desconner
Sam
is
Young
just
right up
clicking lap
against the
after
wall
lap
there.
off right now as our leader. The lead lap or lead uh, cars here, Milty, have been staying in line, very
Give
content on doing that.
give us a
And
little in car here, man. Give us a little bit
yeah,
of in car.
let's,
Well, I want to see those guys right in the middle of the pack. See what they see right now.
yeah, we'll go back a few cars here, driving with Mark Dillon Jr. right behind the boss man, Sam Young. And let's see how he deals with all this traffic on that high line, Milty.
As I'm slow to get into the cockpit. 196 miles an hour, 197. Just approaching 200 miles an hour, going into the corner flat out.
Oh, and there's a
Oh,
wreck,
there's a car
Milty.
right in
And the
front of him.
'09.
Yes,
Oh, and we're right in it there. And the
oh, they're still
62 and
fighting.
'07,
Oh, Ken Salska, I
98.
hope he's okay there. Good thing it's not real. Racing back to the line there, but Mark Dillon Jr. might have dodged a bullet. But I don't know, he had some contact there. We're going to have to take a look at that.
We'll ride with the pace. Wow, Milty, we had a front row seat for that, didn't
Oh,
we?
what do you do? I mean, you're going 197 miles an hour there, and you see a car change lanes. You go, and then you're in it. You know, you may get a chance to step, hit the brakes, but
Yeah, let's take another look at that, Milty, and we could see it developing in front, and not quite sure. Well, let's move up a few cars now that we know that it happened in
damn
front
young.
of us,
Wow.
and let's see how that
Was that
initial.
Rick Johnson that went
Yeah,
around? That's
let's see where that initial
my
incident took
time.
place. Yeah, that was a little stack up there, Milty, with Chad Stallman and Isaac, and that led to chain reaction back to Rick and Dino. And Dino
Yeah.
just got into the back of Rick there. And then as Rick shot down the shot down the banking, Milty,
Wow, that was a great save by Chad Sullivan, by the way, because
and
both of them guys were jiggly.
just got into the rear quarter of Brian Lamb, and on it went. He went flying up. Mark DeSenza might be the luck
Oh,
again. Mark
we didn't even get a
DeSenza.
chance to mention Brian Lamb, but now we're mentioning
You
him.
know,
And
Milty,
he might,
if we take a look at this really slow, look, watch the 6 car. He avoids Rick coming straight down the hill on him, and then he avoids Lamb going straight up the hill. Unbelievable for Mark DeSenza, but look at the carnage behind him. I
oh,
mean, that's living clean. That's clean living
and
right there,
then
Milty.
and now we part the Red Sea right here.
Yeah, we might have to pick up a new nickname for Mark DeSenza and start calling him Moses because he
Call
just parted
it.
the Red Sea right there, Milty. But look at the carnage that he left behind in his wake there. The 62 car.
Oh,
Just
Sean Reap. If he was in the broadcast with us like last week, he might have been thrown up on the mic there.
yeah, and as you see there, it's Sean just going for a tumble
Rex, our big here, by the way, because we didn't mention that.
and down onto his lid. And Milty, in the super speedway race, he went for a
Oh,
80 plus barrel roll. So we got to really check him for concussion, Milty. I'm concerned with two
as
major
Tosca too. It
major
was
hits.
Tosca was sounding so good in the drivers' meeting there. He might not be sounding so good now.
Yeah, let's get back live here.
Well, where are
We
we?
see the see
I
lights
don't
are
know.
still on the pace car. Sean Reap has retired. Lamb staying in the race. '07 staying in the race, but we got to think that there's damage there, Milty.
Yeah, you think?
Just lap 9 of 76. Lights still on the pace car. Ryan showing as our leader. Jeff Hale second. Rick Bisconner back to third, so the teammates are 2 and 3. and then
In a
Scott
lot
Stroyer
of
fourth.
heels. Oh, the six has got to end the longest line here. All right.
Yeah, and pit stops, as we were watching the carnage there, pit stops did occur. Now we see Ryan abandoning his lead position to start at the back of the pack now. Early on, that's probably not a big deal. Got his lead lap, got a point there, Milty.
Well, and those guys that we didn't get a chance to see if they took two or four under caution, I would take four because then it gives you options for two and no tires. Tires, as we know, is not really an issue.
Yeah,
Uh,
and with such few laps, Milty, I would be surprised if guys took tires at all. I would probably
because they
think
want
there'd
to
be
keep
very
track
little wear.
position. Yeah.
Just probably topped up to keep the fuel strategy viable if that plays out with green flag stops.
Yeah, I'll jump back here a minute and see if we
But
can
we're
see a
looking
few
at
of
this running
these.
order. Jim Christopherson sitting there in now fourth position, pops up to fifth. Chad Stallman sixth. There we see our top 10 running order. Dog up to 10th there, and Isaac ninth. Ed Finley jumping up into the top 10 early on here. The 80 car. Ed Finley in that Air Force colors. Ed, of course, one of our tremendous painters, um, amongst many, many others. Mark
Hey,
Dillon Jr.,
yep.
Sean also does some painting. Dog, of course, we know painted his own car for the first time and did a damn good job. Um,
And that's hard. I've never painted
yeah,
nothing.
I don't even think about that stuff. It hurts my head. Um,
Okay, yeah, you're right. A lot of no tires and two tires, but Jeff Hale, the leader, got two inside tires, which is what I would do the first run. You want to get at least two on the inside. The inside wears a little bit more, and then you got all kinds of options here from here, and you got the lead.
see
Boy, he
our
had it. Now it's like, oh yeah, excuse me, I'm not live. Yep, 29 in the lead. His teammate, the Warthogs are they're
Yeah,
squealing
that's
out there in the lead.
a familiar position for him as we look on the scoreboard. There are 11th through 20th position cars. A lot of these guys, uh, might be some of the cars that got involved, and guys who maybe did take some four-tire cars that would come out a little behind. And then of course, all the way back to the 59 car, Ryan Johnson, who stayed out, led a lap, and then pitted. Lights are now out on the pace car, Milty.
Three guys we haven't talked about yet. Jim Christopherson, he's in P4 and 40. Obviously, he's a stud and looking good there. Executed and got really good track position and right there in the fight. Just a long way to go. And also the 80 of Ed Finley in that top 10 there. Nice run for the Edster.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
So far,
parking the car in the top 10 here.
I think that sounded like a Boston accent.
Yeah, I know he's in New York.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. Maybe you've lived all over the place, so maybe you got a pretty good New York accent there.
Well, not a big on the New York stuff, but
That's better than mine.
have mom's side of the family is from Boston, so I've been hearing that my whole life.
Got the Baston stuff down
Yeah,
there.
that's pack the car in the Harvard yard. But uh, Jeff Hale knows how to pack the car in Victory Circle, Milty. He's done it dozens of times in Super Speedway, in Pro Cup, in Grand National, in Chicken Runs,
Well, and
in
the thing is, he would have a
Winston
whole
Cup.
trophy case full if he could have run whole seasons.
Yeah,
He,
no doubt. As we see the pace cars slowly peel off here, Milty, and again, long 50 or 65, 70 miles an hour until that green flag flies. and Jeff's going to lead him down, teammate right behind him. So if you're Jeff Hale right now, you know your teammate's not going to do anything silly. So now you can just focus on getting a good hard restart and
Mm-hmm.
get your teammate to push you into turn one, get into your lane of choice, and then settle in for what you hope is probably a green flag run if you're Jeff Hale, because as the green flag runs progress, Milty, and you have to make green flag stops, that's where Jeff Hale really shines as he gets in and out, and all of a sudden a 2/10 lead turns into a 5-second lead.
Well, of course, another car we had mentioned is the Candy Crush Bubblicious number 23 Pinky Jim Sharf.
Yeah, and then we
Because he
see
is
Jim.
Bubblicious there in the top 10.
Yeah, he's sandwiched in between Chad Stallman and Finley right there. And yeah, again, Milty, Talladega, you play your cards right. You don't damage the car to lose it either engine or aero. Ooh, and almost some contact there
Oh,
between Isaac and Ed.
what a
And
great move by the youngster there. Quick reactions from the 72
yeah,
at
and Ed again
197 miles an hour.
trying to keep that car on that low line, and he's really struggling right there. And Isaac obviously having to drive defensively, and that cost him some speed there. But keeps the car clean, and you got to do that to compete here. So good move there. And then we see the 47 car, Josh Elliker. And, Josh is another guy, Milty. If he was to show up every week in, let's say, the Super Speedway Series, he would be in a top 3, and he would have
Yeah,
wins.
yeah.
He is a tremendous Super
Like
Speedway
Ken
driver,
Yep.
and you know, he just doesn't get out onto the track. And I think if he can get into this car here and not get caught up in a wreck, I think we're going to see him compete for maybe a win here. And it wouldn't shock me at all as we see Dog and Isaac
Oh boy,
working
that's
together there.
teammates. Yeah, they're still teammates.
Of course, they're
They're
teammates.
fist. Okay.
They're Thor Racing teammates
Door
there.
dog.
And there's and Josh in that lime green Oldsmobile there pushing the Dog, who's pushing the kid.
A little warp by the server there. From my end, did you see that?
Don't think I saw it, but
Oh, well, okay. Never mind.
as we see Jeff Hale still and Rick still 1-2, Scott Stroyer 3, Jim Christopherson 4, Pops 5. I would be very surprised to see either Rick or Scott try to do anything here. Scott Stroyer is a very savvy super speedway driver. I think he's going to tuck in right here and just ride this whole time right there if he has a choice. I think if other people get the racing around him, then he's going to maybe reassess. But if nothing happens, I think he's just going to stay right there for this whole run, Milty, and then do his thing on pit road. And again, he's a pro's pro on pit road. He knows how to get in. He knows how to max his time. He stays at 55 all the way to his pit stall, and then pulls out and hits 55 until he hits that line. And we see here he has moved out to that outside line. Now remember, this is the NRT 500 track, Milty. We have run many BP tracks in our Super Speedway series now. In fact, they're all BP tracks now. And the NRT 500 track, is a unique track that was made specifically for that charity race there. That raises a lot of money. And, I in fact. Oh, and there's a little touch there. Just a little door-to-door there on Chad and I think Rick Bisconner there. And yeah, catch your breath. Everything's all right. Jeff Hale, Rick on the low line, Scott Stroyer, Jim Christopherson on the outside line. And, what we know about this track is that middle lane, not the highest groove, but not the lowest groove. There's a sweet spot here, Milty, that if you guys cooperate and stay in line and work it, you can really make hay there. And we see who knows where that line is. That's the 55 car. And he's been working it here, and you can see he's just slowly
and you're also
inching
side
up.
drafting there too, but side drafting is danger close, man.
Yeah, and it's not illegal by any means, but kind of frowned upon. Side drafting
Not
is
this
side
early.
drafting, but there's also the side taking side drafting a little too far could cause you to pinch the guy
Oh,
down there in the
boy.
turn. So
This is so stressful.
yeah, we can see
That
this
72
this
car
lead
wants
gr-
to go, man. I mean, he
this
wants to go. He
this
wants to get shot out of a cannon, but he's got nowhere to go right now.
yeah, this lead group here is really tight, and we see that it's being led by Scott and Jeff Hale at the front, anchored by Dog on the inside, and
Hey,
looks
Monster,
like
I'm
Ed
in
on
the
the
top
outside
10.
there. So if we look at that, that's the top 9, 10 cars right there in a blanket, Milty. Let's make that 11 cars in a blanket. But then there's almost a 3-second gap back to the rest of the field, Milty. And if you're in the rest of the field now, you really, really got to focus on staying in line and maximizing your lap times.
Absolutely. You need
If
a
these
caution, and you need to get back close to these guys.
And we can see the second pack of cars as we widen out the shot here. We can see that lead group going into 1. And there's that little small second group. So they're really at a disadvantage. They really like seeing them going 2 by 2 here, Milty. But again, that outside line's being led by someone who knows where to drive it. And you can see they've really pulled ahead of Jeff Hale now as they go down the backstretch there, Milty.
Like we talked about, that outside line can really start to move.
And
Especially
Scott and Jim Christopherson now have dropped down to that low line, and they have passed Jeff Hale. So you don't see that every day either, Milty. Jeff Hale getting passed for the lead on the super speedway. And since we
also, now we're going to be looking at 31, which will not be, that will be an extra window. So.
yeah, and we'll go back in car here, Milty, since we got interrupted a little last time by that big wreck. We're riding here with the 43 car, Rick Bisconner. So he's tucked in right in 4th position there. You can see his mirrors full up on the outside line there. Chad Stallman, Isaac Johnson. Pops right behind him.
Big car here, upwards of 191 now. With the bigger pack, they were going almost 200 miles an hour. Now they're spread out a little bit. There's less cars there.
Oh, and Pops got a little out of shape there, but he saved it. And but look at how the gap opened up behind Rick there, Milty. But that gap will get made up quickly there by Pinky as Rick now shoots to the outside. His teammate Jeff Hale going to go with him? No. Ducks back in.
Scott Schroyer in the lead.
Yeah, Scott Schroyer, Jim Christopherson, Jeff Hale right ahead of us. We're riding with that 4th place car.
72 was really close there.
Yeah, we can see Isaac's really been in the thick of things as we bounce back one into Pinky's car here, Milty. And we see Isaac stuck on the outside all by himself now. He's got to find that inside line now, and he does.
Lets it back in.
And we can see that when that outside line, Milty, was cooperating, they made hay. Scott Schroyer and Jim Christopherson were able to work that outside line with a lot of other people behind them to take the lead, and then it immediately fell apart. And now we can see it's all single file.
Well, that hard attack was avoided. Now they're going to do it again. Who's going to pull out first?
And we're now riding with the kid here, Milty, in the 72 car. He's had some adventures in this early run here.
His reaction time to this stuff, I mean, he is focused. He's into this. And he is pushing.
And you can see when there's a little space between cars, Milty, he can really eat up that space, and the speeds pick up from 190, 195, So, there is a skill to super speedway racing with leaving that little space in between the car in front of you, so you can get kind of get that run off of them. And we can see Isaac getting pushed down just a bit low there with Chad Stallman going up just a bit high in the turn. And Isaac with that speed, again, with that run he had, Almost gave him a run for his money right there.
Down on the apron. Well, that was a hard scare there.
Woo!
I mean, you're gritting your teeth here. You think it'd be a little easier because the cars are closer speed-wise? It's going flat out, but actually this is grit your teeth manhandling type of driving here, man.
Absolutely. This is not
The
a
intensity there's never any time to relax.
No, there really isn't. You gotta stay focused. The cars in front of you can check up at any time. The guys behind you can make a run onto the outside of you at any time, and you can't be caught sleeping at the wheel, or you're gonna find yourself going backwards. If we go from Scott Schroyer, Milty, our leader in this race, as we hit lap 24 of 76, getting to about 53 to go here. If we jump ahead of Scott Schroyer, we can see these cars that were damaged early on. Ken Soska, Brian Lamb, there's Sammy, Dino.
They got points they got to try to get.
They're trying to run here in a group, but their cars are definitely off pace. And here come the leaders, Milty. So this is always another grit your teeth time if you're the leaders. You want to make sure that the slower cars don't impede you, and also you want to make sure you don't make a mistake by letting someone get around you that's one of the guys you're racing against while you're trying to tiptoe.
Oh boy, Biscotner tried to grab the draft of the lap cars, and he was inviting a little room there for the 23, but he knew
there
what
we
he was
see
doing.
Isaac down low again, Milty, onto that concrete section of the track on the back straight, and car seems to be like a handful for Isaac tonight.
Yeah, well, when you're following like that, it's so hard to hit your apex point. That's why I love leading races and trying to stay there, because you got free sailing of what you got to do. You can just guard that bottom line. And the farther back you go, the harder it is to see, and you got all these distractions around here. It's tough, man.
Yeah, and you can see there was a good shot there. Jim Christopherson almost looked like they were one car, Milty. You couldn't see where Schroyer's car ended and Christopherson's began. He was pushing them so cleanly right down the back straight, and that's exactly, if you're the guy in front, it's exactly what you want from your second place, or your pusher guy, as they call him, the pusher.
Well, most times you win one of these races, it's because you have, about all the times, because you have some help,
Yeah, absolutely, Milty. Teammates, friends, whatever you want to call them, allies,
our new teammates
are absolutely essential to be competitive. Unfortunately, my teammates are fair weather drivers, to say the least. I'm not going to mention any names, but they know who they are. They're on the team page at fsbracing.com. Go onto that homepage there. There's a teams tab. Click on that, and you can see all the guys on all the teams, Milty, including my team. Yep. And if you look in the Super Speedway Series, you'll only see me. And I have no friends. I have no allies. I have no anyone. And
we do love you.
And it reflects my tenuous position in the standings, to say the least.
This racing, 7 nights a week here, and sometimes twice or 3 times a day or more. So I mean, it's gotta find time.
I was always hoping, Milty, that all my complimentary words to Jeff Hale would pay off in the Super Speedway Series when he sees me, but he's not really.
Neither Ken Hansen pitting.
Oh, and there goes Isaac again, Milty. Where is he? There he is.
Oh, cars going into pit road? No, they're going off on. Wow, this is crazy.
That was Isaac, Milty. He got pushed down again, and now he's lost the draft, and that's gonna be a problem for him now.
Well, it looked like his setup was just was steering and everything. He was, like you said, he was fighting it. Too much oversteering. We got pit
Oh, and then we
stops.
got Matt.
Oh no
Oh,
no
and
no
Pop's
no no
hard on the
no!
gas.
All of them.
Oh,
Hale
and they're
goes
wrecking.
off. No,
They're
that was
wrecking.
Bisconner.
Scott Schroyer spinning. Chad Stallman spinning.
Jeff
Pop's
Hale,
on
the
the grass.
veteran, down P1, and Pinky behind him executes. As we look back at the picture, and there's contact also on pit road. Hard lick for the Budweiser 55.
Yeah, that's a
As
tough break for our
he
leader,
got
Milty.
hammered. He got hammered in the rear there with the gear.
Yeah, now we see him slowly coming down pit lane. We don't know how much damage he has. Hopefully not too bad, but we see Jeff Hale, Milty, dodging all the bullets coming onto pit lane. He's going to
Oh,
lose
the
his service, and
Budweiser
away he
car.
goes.
Which reminds me, we have. I'll take a short break under caution.
Jeff
Be
Hale,
right
Jim
back.
Christopherson out first and second from all this pit stop. Mark DeSenza, Ed Finley, Dog, and Josh Elliker also trying to hook up and try to pull away from the rest of this field now. Scott Schroyer definitely behind the eight ball now. What a bad break for our leader. Coming in, looked like he was doing everything right. Guys behind him seemed like they were a little squirrely, going in a little too hot. I don't know if someone got into Chad or Chad locked it up and spun, but both of them ended up on the grass. Pops was on the grass as well. Could be black flags as well. When you go onto the grass, you can get an unsafe pit entry penalty as well. So those remain to be seen. As we look at our running order here at lap 30 of 76, um, this is now turned into a much different race with these green flag stops and then the contact and no caution at all, which really hurt Scott Schroyer and Chad. You would have thought a caution would have come out with so many cars around it, but Flagman held it, and now Jeff Hale and Jim Christopherson trying at their best to keep a lead, but I just think that Ed, Mark DeSenza, Dog, Josh Elliker, those four is better than two at Talladega. And if these four cooperate, I think the four will run down the two and make a
Oh yeah,
six.
yeah, definitely.
And that should be okay with Jeff Hale and Jim
Green flag
Christopherson as well,
stops there.
because that will help pull away from the rest of the field. Once you get to about 6 cars there, you can make some good speed.
Well, bad luck for great drivers. Let's give some other great drivers here a shot here, and
Yeah, and let's mention some guys here,
grandma
Milty.
and grandma and granddaughter of dog here got to be. They watch these broadcasts regularly. Excited here. It's been a while since he's had a shot at a win here, and on Friday nights, and he's right there.
Yeah, he is, and someone who's really made a good push here, Milty, with these green flag stop and avoided the carnage on the entry of pit lane there. Ken Hansen has jumped up to the 7th position, and I believe he's in this draft here. So, and Ryan Johnson has clung on as
And
well.
he pitted a lap early, which was
Yeah,
smart.
so this is a
By
great job
himself.
here by Ken and Ryan, 7th and 8th, but they're in
Another
the
driver.
draft, and now they've separated 6 seconds. So now, if you're in this top 8, Milty, you've got to feel really good about finishing, top 5, winning the race now, because you've
Well,
eliminated a lot of your
yep.
competitors. If it stays green now, if it stays green. Scott Schroyer, Milty, where is he? Way back 43 seconds behind Milty, so that devastated his chances along with
Well, he
Chad
needs a caution,
and Rick Bisconner, who was also
might
there,
be
and Pop.
undamaged. Just needs
He needs a
caution.
caution. Yeah, we saw, and Guy Petra. So Isaac Johnson in no man's land there, Milty, 11 seconds
But
behind and
Papa
20
is up
seconds
there.
ahead. So we got the lone car of Isaac Johnson in 9th, and then the rest of the pack from 10th on back, Milty. So we're going to stay with this lead group of cars, led by Jeff Hale, Jim Christopherson, Mark DeSenza. So Ed Finley, and there's Josh Elliker, Milty. There's my prediction. And looking good now as he's in this lead group of cars as we are, the laps are clicking off, Milty, with green flag running.
approaching the halfway here. A lot of, for me driving in these races. Oh, and Dogma goes down low there. So it's a lot of anxiety. I mean, you cannot rest. It's way more anxious than even I can't even really. This is it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just so nerve wracking.
yeah. It's a complete unique way of racing. Ovals. I'm personally a very mediocre oval driver in general, mile and a halfs, and you know those kind of tracks, Milty. I just really
I like
struggle,
this stuff,
you know.
man.
But
This is
come super
something I can
speedway,
do.
yeah, I can push the pedal down and I can stay in a draft, and hopefully I don't kill too many people, and hopefully don't cause anything. But yeah, it's a different animal, and people can be competitive. If you're in the right place at the right time, you can win a race. And Dog is putting himself in the right place at the right time right now, Milty. He's in the third, Mark DeSenza second. Now Jeff Hale still covering the field.
Look at the snake weave back and forth. Weave, weave, weave. It's a combination of looking and trying to break the airflow, and also just the cars moving so much. You're constantly battling. It's just not like driving around on the highway at 55 where you're just, it's like constantly input into that steering wheel all the time. Now Christopherson goes back and goes.
Yeah, and we see
That's
he's
not
going.
a bad move, though. A lot of
Well,
times if you get forced out, you just kind of. It's not even halfway at one lap to halfway. So
right, and now fuel mileage, Milty, is something these guys are immediately thinking of. And if you're Jim
hmm
Christopherson, why fight and fight and fight? If you can stay on the back of this draft, you can half pedal it sometimes into the corners and save it here and there, and you can get uh, a little better fuel mileage. You could be in a position to leapfrog a bunch of these guys, and it's easier to do it. So most of the time, it's easier to do it on pit lane than it is on the track with the car so even. Of course, when we see carnage on the pit road entry, you have to think about that too. But now this lead pack, Milty, is small, so all these guys could pit together and come out nice and clean now, and not worry about a mass pack of 20 cars all coming in at once.
you've got the two guys up front that's won a lot of stuff this year, and then you got these hungry pack of dogs behind them here with the main dog in that beautiful Camaro going at it there, and Ed Finley running P4 here.
Right where he needs to be,
There.
Milty.
You know how bad it would. You know how cool it'd be if these guys could win a race. I mean, gets these
Oh yeah.
studs.
Not to
I've never
mention that
won a
we know
Friday
that
race.
we know that Dog is certainly running for points, Milty. A win has, besides obviously the prestige of winning the Winston Cup Friday night race, is the big point total that you rack up. And like I said, about second
Yeah,
through ninth is just separated by about 20
yeah.
points.
This is the race that could change things.
Yeah, and
It's
what
what
it's
do they
not
call it? A crapshoot.
what it appears not to be changing is Jeff Hale. He's our Winston Cup points leader, and he's
Oh
the leader
boy.
of this race. Mark DeSenza right behind him there. Dogged in third, Ed in fourth, and then Ken Hansen, another guy that's just got to be starving for victory lane, Milty. He's just had terrible luck last season and just kind of rolled into this season, unfortunately for him, Milty. But now here he is in this lead pack and right in a position where he needs to be if he was thinking of winning a race.
These pro drivers are. I mean, why else would you do this? I mean, you're here to win, and when you get that chance, now it's all about executing. And that, these pit stops, like you seen the last time, you have to be in frame of mind to execute at what you've done in practice, and not try to do anything more. But you've also got cars around you. It's really hard to simulate in practice. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's nothing that can replace, 18, 19 cars in a 2x2 pack. That
you have to be,
you just can't
yep.
get that in practice.
So you have to be a little on the conservative side, but it depends on where you are and where you're going to pit. Got to think now that maybe I'll at least be able to pit with the 29 and the 6, or I don't know if they can make enough fuel in this pack. They're going too darn
Yeah,
fast.
Milty, and of course in my oh, I think I just saw a car disappear. That was a 59 car. Ryan Johnson blinked out there. He's back up, so we'll keep
Yeah,
an eye
yeah,
on that.
I
I don't
saw it
know.
too.
I don't think that's me. I think it just was him that
No, no,
disappeared and no one else. So we'll keep an eye on that. Ryan,
internet
right?
racing.
Yeah, this is internet racing, and I apologize for the kind of the poor quality of the last few broadcasts as well when we're on internet. Obviously, I don't think it's an internet-related issue with me. I think it's just me not knowing how to work these controls.
Yeah,
But
well,
I'll figure it out eventually. It'll only take me a few years. Um,
well, if it was up to me, we'd be in big trouble.
but I'm hoping that looking at the broadcast here in the background
It
as
looks
I'm
good. Looks
broadcasting,
good. I'm
I
watching
see
it
a
too.
little here and there hiccup, but I think
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
got at least a better quality broadcast tonight, and we got some quality racing on the track. So I'm happy to see that. And we're on. Let's see, what do we got here, Milty? 34 laps remaining. So we got to be thinking about a second round of green flag stops coming up, don't we?
Absolutely. But they're not at this current fuel run and pace with the green flag stop. They can't make it with one more stop, in my opinion. So you
Well,
pit
this is the
early.
stretch
You
run
got to
right
pit
here,
with,
right?
yeah. You got to pit with these guys, and you got to execute. You got to pick a lane. When these guys are on their own team radios. So, and thing is you can tell your teammate, I'm going to pick the outside lane when I pit. I'll pick the middle, but the rest of the guys are also trying to pick a lane, and then a couple are going to be behind people. So you have to
Yeah,
try to
you
use
just
your braking point and also use that car in front of you, like on the freeway. I mean, you got to give a little bit of space. That's
yeah
where
it,
the
it
track position for these leaders, top three guys here, can really can have an advantage
yeah,
here.
and usually like what we saw happen in that first green flag stop is very unusual for the leaders of the race to get involved in a pit lane incident. Usually it's the mid pack and backpack guys that are trying to make time. So that was kind of an unusual situation, but if you're Jeff Hale and you're getting ready to pit, and the rest of the guys behind you, you really have no worries from Mark DeSenza. But then there's the unknown here with Ed Finley and those guys, Milty, and Josh Elliker, who why a great super speedway racer, maybe not a lot of pit stop, green flag pit stop,
You never can't
action.
simulate it.
Right.
It's uh, yep.
So, I'm sure these are all things that go through Jeff's mind is, I'm not worried about Mark. Mark is one of the best pit stop guys in the business. So he knows he's not going to have any problems with him. But then, Dog and Ed and Ken Hansen, they're hungry. They want to win. And maybe they see I can't beat Jeff on the track. So I got to beat him on pit lane. And, that's where
Oh
and Pop
boy, Pops
shoots.
just veers off
Woo!
there.
I hope he gave signal there, but I don't know. Of course, I can't get onto that chat there where the guys will put up a posting that they're pitting.
He did signal. I don't know when, but he did signal.
He did
So
signal, so it's possible Jeff Hale was just cutting it close there and not having any intent there. 29 continues to lead. Mark, Dog, Ed, Ken Hansen, Ryan Johnson, Josh, and Jim Christofferson. That's our lead group, and that's a group of 8, Milty, and then there's no one. Chad Stallman is our ninth place car, but he's 44 seconds behind Jeff Hale. And lap times here, as we watch Jeff Hale right now, Milty, we see it's about a 49-second lap that they run. So these guys are about to go a lap down as we go push in front of Jeff Hale. We see that back group now, Ken Soska, Brian Lamb, there's Sam Young. These guys were really badly damaged early on in that first caution, Milty, and our only caution. And there's that other group here that's on the lead lap, but through circumstances of that first pit stop, really paid the price. And that's Isaac and Guy Petra's there. I don't know what happened with Guy. I have to find out maybe after the race what happened with him. But we know what happened to Chad and Rick and Scott Schroyer, and those guys all got caught up in that pit lane incident on our first green flag stops. Back to our leaders, lap 47 to 76. So
And Hansen pitting early. Ryan Johnson to 29. It's time, folks.
Okay.
40 pitting, 47. They're all coming in.
Okay, so yeah, if you're in this group, you have to pit together. I mean, you have no choice. So if Jeff Hale signals
Waving
pit, everyone's
hands,
got to pit.
Signal, signal, signal.
Yeah, and we see this group.
Cannot psych yourself out. You got to use your same braking point and your viewpoint that you use every other time.
Right, and just don't fall into the temptation of getting greedy to make up.
Can't win it right here. You can lose it.
You know, it's so tempting. It's so tempting to outbrake someone here, Milty, but you can't do it.
Tires.
Mark DeSenza comes flying into pit lane.
The veteran, but he was he speeding or
wow,
what?
I don't know, Milty.
Let me take a look. Going back here a little bit.
You see Ken Hansen, our first to hit pit lane and get beautifully hit his marks there. So Ken Hansen might get a benefit here. He really came in top speed and just came to a dead stop. Great job by Ken Hansen.
That's what he did the last pit stop and avoided all the problems. Take a look at the
here he comes
car.
out. And it was a very good pit stop. Oh, and Dog comes out right ahead of him. And there we see Jeff Hale, and Mark DeSenza beats Jeff Hale out of the pits, Milty. So Mark DeSenza will be our leader. Jeff Hale's second. It's a drag race between Ed and Dog for third.
Across the line at 69 miles an hour was the 6 car slamming on the brakes. Now we know, 55 is the pit road speed, but if you come in hard and keep on the brakes and get to that first timing line,
below 55.
No for the 6. What a great pit stop from the veteran, the world champion, multiple times, and execution.
Yeah, but Jeff Hale right on his back bumper, Milty, and he's got Guy Petra and Pops ahead of him, lap down cars. So and Guy Petra peels off to go down pit lane here. So now Pops.
Something happened to the 23. Pinky is gone out.
And Jeff Hale got pinned down for Pops there. Mark goes high. So this is going to be interesting here. We're going to have a battle for the lead, I think. Dog goes up with Mark DeSenza. Ed stays down with Jeff Hale. Mark DeSenza not...
Another great stop for him. Come on, Ed.
And Mark DeSenza loses all his friends on that outside line. While they abandoned...
That's great.
They really pulled a fast one there on Mark DeSenza there, Milty. And now Josh Elliker trying to give him a bump to catch back up to this group, or they're in danger of losing the draft here now.
We're out to win this race. What an awesome race.
So
it's going to get even better, folks.
Yeah, Ed and Dog there looked like they were going to go to that outside line with Mark DeSenza. Then they both peeled back down right behind Jeff Hale and left Mark DeSenza hung out to dry. And that left Ken Hansen, Ryan Johnson, and Jim Christopherson to take advantage of that. Now, Mark has, I think, got that draft, so he'll be okay. And so has Josh. So our lead group of 8 remains our lead group of 8, Milty.
They did what they did. You see the leaders pull rabbits out of their hat, but then lost track position while some of these other guys took it a little bit easier and just, like I was saying, executed, do what you do, what you practiced, and let the other guys make a mistake here, and
Yeah, we
let's get in that draft, man.
yeah,
Anything can happen
there
now.
we see our leader Jeff Hale had Finley up the second, Milty, Dog third, Ken Hansen fourth. All those guys had tremendous pit stops, and it's really paid off for them. They're right in the position they need to be in as these laps are winding down. Just
Ed Finley,
25 laps to go, Milty. So one more stop, and it really has a green flag look to it right now.
Ed Finley, one of the most selfless guys you ever meet. Paints cars for free for so many people. Does so much. Back in the admin crew now, and uh, which is another selfless act there. And man, you got a roof for this guy in the 80 there. Well, it's close, man. These guys are gonna go. It's a nice fat pack here in the front.
Yeah, now we can see some lap traffic maybe coming into play here, Milty.
That's how it do. They're gonna get out of the way, especially at Talladega here. You just want to go high and give away the preferred line. These pros know what to do.
Yeah, we see the leader, Jeff Hale, Ed Finley, and going high, Isaac, Rick Bisconner staying low. Uh,
Well, I see the evolution of the 108, and now just then he
Whoa,
goes
and
into
Jim,
the second hole.
yeah, and now, yeah, Jim Christopherson had a great run there, and I think Dog was trying to get in front of him, but Jim Christopherson had too good of a run there, Milty.
Well, I mean, they want to win this race, man. You can't sit on your laurels.
Oh, and Isaac and Jeff Hale have maybe a little scratch of paint on each guy now.
Isaac a lap down wants to get his lap back, and his car is good, so that's the rules. Prevented no lucky dogs here.
And we can see 3 wide still. Isaac on the bottom, Dog, Rick Bisconner on the bottom, and then Jim Christopherson.
3 wide.
Mark DeSenza trying to push that high line. There's Josh Elliker and Chad Stallman, who's also a lap down there. So there's a mix of our leaders and lap down cars right now, Milty, in this pack. But one thing that came through to the front, Jeff Hale, and Ed has really glued onto his back bumper.
Oh, that's such a great feeling to be there.
And we can see Isaac still a little loose there in the pack, Milty. And yeah, something's got to be going on with Isaacs there. He's such a good driver.
He's got an oversteer in the car.
Yeah, he looks like me out there trying to keep the car down in that low line, and it's just wobbly. And now he's up in the high line and just doesn't look comfortable.
I think his steering ratio or something.
There he goes, jumps up really high now. And
something isn't right.
And there's a car coming tumbling. That's Jim Christopherson as he goes tumbling through the infield. Oh my goodness!
It's still green.
And we stay green. Unbelievable! As that car is destroyed. I don't know what happened there.
Isaac too.
There's something going on with Isaac's car. He drifted all the way to the back. And then all of a sudden, Jim Christopherson, I just saw go flying into the air and tumbled into the infield there, Milty. And we got to make sure he's okay, man. This infield care center is going to be filled with a head injury tonight.
Where's my bucket? That's what he's going to say.
Man, and we don't have. The flagman, Milty, is just refusing to throw cautions tonight. And we're on lap 50. We got 20 laps to go as Jeff crosses the line here.
Well, so I'm back a lap here watching as you keep going there. I'm going to see what happened.
Yeah, and right now Jeff Hale, Ed Finley, Dog, Ken Hansen, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ryan Johnson is 5th, and they're all right there. So Ryan, Ken Hansen, Dog, Ed Finley, these guys are hungry for a win. Jeff Hale, belly full of wins.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, he got. Oh, you telling me the caution is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? You're gonna go back and show the fans this barrel roll that he just did, man.
Well, mark the
It's
lap there,
unbelievable.
Milty. Mark the lap for
That
us, and we
is
can maybe go back and watch it. We're on
that
lap
is
fifty-seven right
lap
now.
55.
Yeah, so we'll mark lap 55 and check that out maybe after a
He
race.
got
But
hit from Mark DeCinza, I think, in the rear. I'm not positive, but
well,
well, it was like 7 or 8 barrel rolls. That'll
yeah, that
it,
car was really used up there.
that's gotta hurt.
So let's reset this one more time. We have 19 laps coming up on 18 laps to go. We know they have to make one more stop, Milty. Of course, now this one more
That's
stop,
according
this is a
to our
fuel-only stop.
calculations. This is a fuel only.
So you got to remember,
Yep.
uncheck. There's check boxes as you go into your options screens while you're driving, Milty. You're able to see certain things. To the fans at home, if that may not be familiar with NR 2003, you can scroll through certain features, Milty, tire temperature, change tire options, um,
Yeah,
fuel.
you gotta be Roger Penske and
Right. So you're not just a
Keselowski.
driver. Right. You got to be crew chief and driver. And of course, these guys have to remember in the heat of the moment of battling side by side every lap in this race that right now you got to remember I got to go into my tires. I got to uncheck the box that tells my pit crew to change the tires. So now you got to remember that in the heat of the moment. I've forgotten it many times, Milty, and it's cost me races for sure that I've just totally forgot to uncheck my boxes. I go in and all of a sudden they start making a 4 tire change and I see
I
everyone doing
want
fuel
4
only.
tires.
Right. So and it's a punitive thing here as opposed to let's say iRacing. You can uncheck a tire a split second before you hit your box. In iRacing in NR 2003 here, once you hit pit lane, Milty, it kind of locks your
Yeah,
selections in.
yeah.
So even if you remember, it's too late. So let's hope these guys remember to uncheck those tires. Fuel only. And now, Milty, you can manipulate what you tell the crew to put in your car for fuel. You can go splash, you can go half can, you can go 1 can. In
Yeah,
this
and you were
case,
looking for
obviously, it's going to be a 2 can move here because they got to top up to go almost a full run to the end here, I think, or pretty close to a full run.
Yeah, two cans, 2 tires.
Maybe one. Yeah, and remember, 1 can equals 2 tires. So if you need to go put a can in at least, then you know you can get away with the 2 tire change and the can, and you'd be good to go.
And that helps you assume it, if your tires in this game, your pit stops are not exactly the same every time. Sometimes they nail it, and sometimes they're a little slow. So that gives you some leeway to still get those 2 tires without having. You don't want to wait on fuel when the dude says go, dude goes.
And we have 15 to go, Milty. So now you're certainly inside a fuel window now,
Tick, tick,
Milty.
tick, 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 tick,
When
tick.
do you do it now? If you're Jeff Hale, when do you
You
go?
gotta run it out. You gotta run it out. I mean, you gotta run it out.
Do you run it
The
out
tire.
because you're worried about a caution, or do you run it out
Absolutely,
because
yeah,
you
yeah,
want to
yeah.
take less fuel at the end?
Both. Both. You don't
Now,
want to give all this
now,
away that you've got.
now, if you're one of the guys in the pack here, Milty, are you at the mercy of Jeff Hale here? Do you just have to do what he does and just hope
uh,
that you can maybe outpit him or outdraft him?
it depends. You got teammates. You got. Ultimately, it's going to come down to you and your bros. So Warthog is definitely going to work together, even though the 43's a lap down. Okay. His car is still top notch, and his race is done basically. So, but he's going to help the 29, and on and on. You got, Tour Dog. You got Independence. You got, and ultimately you got. You want to team up with at least one guy.
Yeah, and if you're
Preferably more.
now, put yourself in Ed's shoes here, Milty. You know, you're in second place. You know the laps are clicking down. This is probably your best ever opportunity to ever win a
He
Friday
is
night
really
race.
solid tonight.
Yeah, and
Yes.
he's looked really nice. Uh, you just glued to Jeff Hale's bumper and you're just looking for that second place finish, or do you want more?
Well, I think, yeah, when you talk about picking partners, I think that's the guy you got to pick. 43's track position is back fifth or sixth, so and most likely once the 29 signals, it's not required to signal, but in play racing, if
Yeah,
you don't
I
wait,
mean
you gotta.
that would be extremely poor form if you didn't signal your intentions to pit with a big pack of cars. You know that would be yeah. I wouldn't
You've got to,
expect any of these guys
for
to
your
do
own
that.
survival.
Road racing's a different story, and you know that's a strategic move in road racing. But in oval racing, it's a safety issue more than anything. If you slow down and everyone thinks you're not going to slow down, you're going to get slammed into, or they're going to take evasive action and cause maybe a bigger wreck behind you. So yeah, that's just not the way we do it here.
Oh, oh,
Especially in
yeah.
plate racing, you got to
Okay,
signal your intentions.
new strategy now. We're getting within 11 to 10 laps here.
Yeah, so
So,
now we're looking at
so you're
maybe
gonna
one can,
so
Milty.
now you're looking at one can. You're looking at no tires here. You can get two tires and get a can, but it's pushing it.
Yeah,
Tires
and
are really an issue. That's a
plus,
little edge. For some reason, the game gives you a little bit better pit stop, even though it fits it in. It's just
right,
not the
and
same.
also there's an element of a potential mistake by your crew, Milty, why they change tires. And
Yeah,
if they do that, it adds at least a 1 to 2 seconds of time, and that would pretty much end your race. So
they always
I wouldn't.
apologize,
Yeah,
but
yeah, they're very polite as they say tell you they've
we're
lost the
sorry.
race for you. But yeah, in this case, I'm not taking
Oh,
any tires. I'm taking the minimum amount of fuel to get to the end.
before they do that, I'll step away real quick.
And we see we're cutting down to 10 to go. Jeff Hale, our leader, Ed second. And here we go. Final pit stops are coming. Jeff Hale out onto the grass. Ed Finley out onto the grass. They followed him right onto the grass there. Could be some speeding penalty implications here, but Jeff righted the ship. Let me get it to a better camera here for you. And there we see Ken Hansen into the pits. Jeff Hale coming down. He's right there in our front pictures, Ed Finley. So these guys might not have any damage, but there could be black flags, and that remains to be seen. Speeding penalties and unsafe entries. There we see Ken Hansen coming out. Dog coming out. Mark DeSenza having some kind of problem here. He's slow, and he'll come out dead last out of this group of cars. There's Josh Elliker and Ed Finley now. So Ed did pay the price there for that poor pit entry, and this definitely scrambled the leaders. And Jeff Hale was again managed to avert disaster there, I believe. And have to see if he got any kind of black flag there. But man,
Nothing on the scanners, man.
it looked like Jeff just came in a little too hot. Couldn't woe it down, went up onto the grass, and I think Ed had tunnel vision, Milty. He was glued to Jeff, and whatever Jeff was doing, he was doing. And when Jeff went out onto the grass, Ed followed him right out there. And now Jeff has to come in, so he is getting a black
Oh, he,
flag here. So Jeff Hale, our leader, has been black flagged, and he has to come down pit lane.
what an opportunity
And now
here for the dog.
and I don't know who's our lead. It is the
Dog
dog.
Palmer is in the lead.
And Ryan Johnson second, Ken Henson third, and now Ed is fourth. But Ed is off the pace now as well from that bad pit stop. He's out of it. So now it's amongst 3 cars, Milty, unless we see a caution. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to step away very shortly here. Have a obligation, but man, this is a crazy race.
Well, let's put this thing on the leaders, and I'll try to bring it home while you step away. And
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So yeah, it's on the leaders.
Our camera feed's going to be stuck on these guys here.
Yeah,
so.
we're gonna watch Dog, Ryan, and Ken Hansen. Those are our top 3 guys. We'll put the box up so you can see the laps counting down. Lap 70 of 76. Take it away, Milty.
Greg's had a prior commitment, so here we get down to the end here. What an unbelievable scenario here. Teammates, Dog Ryan Johnson, Ken Hansen, Thor Dog, bam, bam, bam. And the 80 is out of the picture now. Schroyer a lap down, but his car is good. He's going to try to help somebody. They're going to be asking him for some help, but then again, you got the boss dog in the lead here. Great execution all night, right up in front. You know darn well they want to help him. I don't think they're going to fight. Our team rules are 2 to go. 2 to go, it's on. We're all here to win a race, but then again, the boss dog from Illinois. Obviously, if you listen to our broadcast before, paralyzed from the waist down, veteran, and like he's told me many times, if it wasn't for FSB racing, for me to get up every day, he deals with a lot of health problems and stuff. He's also, invested in, really good rig, hand controls, and put the work in, and now he's in the lead right here. One of my best buddies here. We text back and forth here, so I'm not going to tell you. I don't wish that I would like to see him win this race, but these guys are competitors. They're not going to lay down. I would say Ken Hansen would want a podium here. He would love a podium. He would dig a podium. This way his season's been, Ryan Johnson, the hit and miss kind of, and also, not running. Him and his son are working on a dirt track program for real, and run some dirt races, and that's obviously time consuming. John the Dog Palmer. That beautiful Camaro. He knows how to get this done. This year's been ups and downs for him. Disappointments with trying to win the I can't even remember what it's called, but the endurance racing for stock car racing, basically these full lap races, the whole 500 laps, and his internet let him down in that last race, and he's really looking for that. A win would really get him fired up, I'm sure. Lap 74, 3 to go. Interesting conversations got to be going on in that team channel, or nothing. In my experience, I've been in this where it was like, you know what you had to do, and nobody. Oh, and Ken Hansen gets down low there. Little apron. I think you got a race for this, man. This is televised. This is Friday night. Dog wouldn't want it any other way. Well, you know what he's going to do, and what I would do is you got to defend that bottom line. But then you got 3 against 1. Is Scott Schroyer going to come and the dogs help here? 75, 2 to go. Oh man, you're Ryan Johnson. You got to pull out. But when are you going to pull out here? Is Ken going to go with you? Ken's pulling out. Is Scott Schroyer going to go with him? Is it going to be 2 and 2? Been in this position with Scott too. Got a good car. You want to help, and that's cool, man. I mean, let's get it on. Make a race of it. Coming up on the white flag. Last lap for John the Dog Palmer. Can he keep it down? He's been on rails there. Ken Hansen looking up high. Wants to make his run here. Schroyer's backed off. Maybe he has some damage. What's Ken going to do if the 59 comes up? Is he going to go after the boss or? Ken goes up high. Schroyer can't get to him. John the Dog Palmer is going to win this thing. It's the dog. How about that? Perseverance, hard racing, and practicing, and great execution all night. Unbelievable. Just wonderful. That is so cool. I mean, that is really cool. You always love to watch guys get a win on Friday night, and he's going to get to come up in the booth here. I'm sure he's very excited. Carry him over. We have a running feed here, so once we get past this burnout and stuff, then we'll have to bear with us. And but we're going to drag these guys up here. The 3 teammates, get some, son. Wow, what a burnout. Dog. Just a wonderful story. Wonderful guy. Such courage, the way he lives his life. And now he's going to do the Alan Kowicki run. Take things for granted in your life, and he's had to work at it. Now we're going to. I'm going to step away for just a minute. They're having the post-race celebrations, but we'll do a little talking here. We're going to have to look at the points. The points will be updated later. Hopefully Greg can come back and deal with some of that. And as we watch Dog go in the pit road there, I'm going to be a little dead air here as we try to grab these top three guys. We'll be back.
Good job, dog. Hello.
Hello.
And we're back here, and we got the top three here, the podium. Oh my gosh, what a great race. The video came out great, so gonna be a great rebroadcast. And of course, we got to start with the winner here, John the Dog Palmer. Dog, you did it, man. Great job.
5 years at FSB, and this is my first Winston Cup victory, and it's on a broadcast. And thank you all for everything. And I'm just totally stoked, man. Those last few laps, I was squeezing that wheel so hard, and I was turning red, and I was getting hot and sweaty. And you talk about nervous. It was like I was a cat on a hot tin roof.
Oh man, I just can't I don't even have the words. We've been friends for a long time, and you know, we know how much this stuff means to you, just the fellowship and also the competition, and how much work you've put in, and team racing and stuff, and to see it come out to Thor Dog 1, 2, 3 at the end there with great execution. Talk about how you attack those pit stops, man. I mean, you just executed all night and flawlessly.
Well, I've been working on my pitting quite a bit here lately. What I did on that last one, I knew I could just take one can. And I figured, well, why take tires? Because I figured Jeff wouldn't, and I was right. And so I got her slowed down and got her right in the pits. Just kind of like take your times, make sure you don't speed. And I got in there and I got going. And then I seen Jeff at the pit again. I told Ryan, I said, "Oh boy, he must got a penalty. Let's go." And then Ryan got up there, and then our former teammate, still our teammate in a way, is Ken Hansen. Congrats to you, Ken. And congrats to Ryan.
I called them all teammates because you guys known each other,
And it's just about execution and practice, like you say.
Well, Ryan, great job, second place, man. I know you had to have mixed feelings there. I was trying to call in the broadcast like you guys were going to do something, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking that once teammates, all teammates, they pretty much showed up. You guys made a little show there, but you really you had your man up there in front. But great execution also for you, and great podium.
Well, I must say, I believe it was after the first green flag pit stop. I got caught behind, and Ken Hansen led the group that I was in with Mark DeCenza and a couple others that brought us back to the lead group right before we had to make another green flag pit stop. And if it wasn't for Ken, I wouldn't have been able to did that. But the way it worked out, I came out behind Dog that last pit stop, and looked like Jeff Hill had an unfortunate speeding penalty maybe, and I wasn't gonna try and do anything with Dog. He's helped me win here at Talladega. In fact, in the IROC race a couple seasons ago where I wrapped it up, Dog was there along with Isaac, and like I told Dog, I was with him, and then it was just awesome. It was fun to push Dog to the win tonight.
Yeah, I know that feeling when you got a teammate, and the anxiety and stress, and what it takes to execute one of these races, and when you're right there, and then you realize you got your boy in front of you. I mean, it's like you just kind of go. I can almost feel better for the win for him than if I win it.
Absolutely, and I mean, in fact, Dog pushed me to a couple other wins here at Talladega, so I feel like it was a chance of paying back, and there was no way I was going to pass him. So I do thank Ken Hansen, though. Again, though, we worked in line together, and as a former teammate, we're still friends. It's great. It was fun.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I mean, you guys were champions last year doing this exact same thing. So Ken, well, what a great way to turn your season around here, and also inspire and help your bros. And what's it like to get a P3 here after just some awful luck.
Well, first off, all I really just wanted to say was, how about that dog, man?
Yeah.
Good
Thanks,
congrats
Ken.
for him, man. You've been
That's
going a long
awesome.
time trying to get a Winston Cup win, man. I knew he definitely could get one, especially at one of the super speedways here. We just follow him around.
Well, and when we watched him at the end of the race there, he held that line down low and was totally solid, but those pit stops and that work, I mean, definitely,
That's pretty much all I did.
You beat the best,
That's pretty much all I did the whole race. Was like, wherever dog is, I'm gonna follow him. And he got me all the way up to third, so I'm more than happy with that, man. Let me tell you.
Talladega
Thanks,
is
Ed. I
dog's
appreciate
favorite
that.
track. So,
Well, John, you're definitely going to have to be showing Grandma and your granddaughter this one, man, because this was a great victory, great run. This year you were, what the heck is the name of that?
Triple Crown.
The Triple Crown. You're so close to that. And remember you texted me and saying, man, my internet let me down, and
Bad phone line.
and it's it's funny how racing works, and not giving up.
Well, I believe I'm feeling some of that if I would have won that Triple Crown tonight, most definitely. And
Yeah.
I must say, I admire your new beverage dispensing machine you have in the booth now. But I don't know about the drone now. You could get up and off your chair once in a while, go get one. You got a drone bringing it to you now.
Hey, you might not be able to get up.
sponsored by Budweiser.
Yeah, absolutely.
This
yeah.
message by Budweiser and the Budweiser drone.
Yeah, and we appreciate everything you and Greg do. That's awesome that you guys take the time that you do and help put these broadcasts together so we can come back and look at what we did the night before. So I really appreciate it.
That's what makes Friday fun.
Thank you guys very
Without
much.
a doubt.
We constantly work on. It's so amazing that it actually happens, and then when it doesn't happen, you're like disappointed. We have these podcasts where we don't get with all these tracks. It's highly technical. It's just far beyond my pay grade. But as far as broadcasting, it's a labor of love, and we enjoy it. It ain't work. It's something I look forward to every week, whether I get to get on in the sim car and get the race myself, or if I'm working, But still, I make room for Friday nights because fun. So we appreciate
May I
it.
give a shout out to somebody?
Yes, sir.
I would like to give a shout out to Mr. Billy Boy Martino. He's been having some health issues lately, and we text back and forth. And he texted me not too long ago, and he said he's doing a lot better. I just want to say, Billy Boy, this one's for you. And I brought your paint job, that awesome 69
That car's
RS
beautiful.
Super Sport Camaro in the victory lane for you, man. And I hope you get better.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling with health problems. Real quick here, let's take a look. Points are updated. I can't put it on. I don't have control, but I want to look real quick at our point situation here, and definitely the 29 took a hit. So as we look here, Winston Cup, Jeff Hale still commanding lead. Biscon there. There's going to be but look in P3 there. Plus 2 spots. John the Dog Palmer with the win has moved up to P3, just 39 points out. Definitely, Dog, you got a chance at a podium in the points here as we were past the halfway point. Ryan Johnson in 4th with another solid, smart run, and Pops with a great season in 5th. So that's the top 5. Ken Hansen's moved up to 7th. Even we've been talking about his bad luck, but yet again, he's got a chance at the top 5 or maybe even the top 3, as there's many races to go here. So I think it's time to sign off here. So enjoyed it, appreciate it. What a great show, and enjoy the. We're gonna put that on YouTube and enjoy the rebroadcast. We might have us a little post-race barbecue here.
Send it on my way.
I may have a few post-race beverages.
There you go, and you deserve it, sir. So with that, we'll call it an evening. Good night, and hopefully, God willing, see you all next week.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Thanks again, Milt. Greg. Good run, Ken.
You too, bud.